Hello, I wanted to share a quick review of the Surrender Experiment. This book is an autobiography of a top-level executive of a company that went public and was worth over $2 billion. This company actually merged with WebMD. If you're familiar, when you search online, am I sick? And it tells you you're going to die. Yeah, it's that company. This guy was not a businessman. He was actually a yogi meditator. And so it's him talking about his life. So with that being said, I just wanted to share briefly some of my key takeaways from this book. I was able to read it very quickly. It is December. It's over Christmas break, essentially, 2023. And I loved this book because of its focus on listening to God is how I felt it. Now the author, he's not Christian necessarily, but he did say he was inspired when reading certain Christian writings and hearing of God and spirit. For me, I understood what he would describe as the universe as the spirit of God. I am Christian. And he basically surrendered to the will of God is how I describe it. The universe telling him what to do. He stopped giving heed to the voice in his head. And he was able to become extremely aware of that voice in his head because of deep reflective meditation. Now, meditation a lot of times isn't associated with, Christianity. More it's reading scriptures and praying. I personally meditate. I will listen to music at certain frequencies that are just hertz, like 432 hertz, because I like that it aligns. I believe in a lot of some of that mysticism, often associated with Eastern religions. But he was a yogi for a while. He moved out to basically live on his own. Bought 10 acres and would just meditate day and night and think about nothing and just try to find inner peace. Well, he eventually just was guided by the universe to eventually build a company. The first company he built was actually building homes, and then he ended up building a software company. I think the biggest takeaway and lesson from this is, now there's a quote. My biggest takeaway relates to a quote. I will not share the quote exactly word for word, but basically it goes something along the lines of there are two parts of our brain. One is the very logical part that can find solutions based off the information we've consumed, and the other portion is the part that can just receive this inspiration out of nowhere. Essentially, where did that idea come from? And he talks about how he, because of meditation, was using that other side of his brain, and I'm saying sides, but he was using this part of his brain that would receive inspiration from the universe, and he would learn to listen to it. And so the big takeaway is try to listen to things around you that might not seem logical. I'll give an example. Earlier this year, I was working for someone else in their business, and they wanted to partner with a couple people from a different state. These individuals, I'm sure, are good in a lot of ways, but as they were determining to try and partner with them and buy a couple properties, I felt very deeply while reading scriptures multiple days in a row, do not work with these individuals. And I saw an opportunity because they were going to mentor me inside of our business, the one I was working for a little bit. They were going to help me. So I was a little excited, but I felt very clearly, don't work with these individuals. I shared these thoughts very strongly with everyone, and I couldn't give a logical reason why. I just said, we need to trust this, but I'm not the owner of the business, so it's up to you guys. They listened to me, and then because I didn't have any logical reasoning for it, they kind of just shrugged it off and ended up working with these business partners. Well, these business partners ended up screwing them over, basically stealing $30,000 from them. Who knows if they'll ever pay it? This is what I heard from them, not my own words, because they're people that will probably pursue me if they find this somehow. So that's why I won't mention their name, but that's the kind of person they are, and I felt very strongly not to work with them through listening to scripture and God. So I would encourage you to read this book, The Surrender Experiment, and reflect on how you could incorporate this more in your life with solving problems and thinking of problem solving rather than just logically finding a solution, turning to a greater knowledge that might have something that you didn't think of, a greater understanding that you don't have. Thanks for listening. That is, it's December 2023, Surrender Experiment. Thanks.